Good evening. Next at 6 on Prime7 News. New South Wales Police search new areas for William Tyrrell, but admit they are looking for a body. Family of aged care residents told their loved ones are locked down over a confirmed case in the facility. A Tweed resident walks to Yamba, raising money and awareness for men's mental health. You'll hear from two of our Sydney Sixers stars about their Big Bass season so far. And nippers are enjoying their first carnival back since the Delta outbreak. In the national news from 6:30, Central Coast residents on alert with flood warnings issued right across the region. And a Queensland reunion, bit of excitement building. We'll have the latest border changes for you tonight. Then.
This is Prime7 Local News.
Tonight, New South Wales Police renew their search for missing boy William Tyrrell. A Taree aged care facility confirms one of its employees has COVID-19. Later on this news hour, residents preparing to evacuate as rivers rise in the central west. And families divided by the Queensland border prepare to reunite ahead of schedule.
Now, Prime7 Local News.
Good evening. Police have launched a new search for William Tyrrell at Kendall on the mid-north coast. Sniffer dogs and evacuation specialists have been called in to help police who for the first time admit they're looking for William's body.
A new search for William Tyrrell announced by New South Wales Police.
This is in response to evidence we've obtained in the course of the investigation, there's no doubt about that.
For the first time since Tom Corrigan, Prime7 News.
The Mid-Coast LGA has seen a record day of COVID cases, sending a Taree aged care home into lockdown and closing a number of schools in the area.
As COVID cases continue to climb in the Mid-Coast LGA, the virus has crept into the homes of our most vulnerable.
That we get these tests done.
Hannah Taylor joins us live now from Taree. Hannah, what's being done to protect vulnerable residents?
Well, Daniel, Estia Health says the positive test result immediately triggered their COVID-19 response plan, meaning the home was thrown into lockdown with no visitors allowed and health authorities were immediately contacted. COVID testing is underway and all residents are currently in self-isolation in their rooms. The home says all staff members have been wearing masks and face shields for weeks, but are now in full personal protective equipment as an extra precaution. Meanwhile, the home says extra support has been added to make sure that families are kept in contact with their loved ones and are being well informed about their condition.
Thanks again, Hannah. Hannah Taylor there. Meanwhile, there's been more COVID cases across the coast. The Mid-Coast LGA saw a record 18 new infections, which was the highest count in the Hunter New England Health District. The Mid-North Coast recorded 4 new infections, 3 in Kempsey and 1 in Port Macquarie. Meanwhile, there are 2 cases in northern New South Wales, with 1 in Lismore and the other in Kyogle. Health experts say the unvaccinated are most at risk.
The virus is still finding the gaps. So this virus is really very, very astute in finding unimmunised individuals.
The bulk of the Mid-Coast cases were in Taree. It's recorded 10 new infections. Tweed and Kyogle are among selected regions that will receive a share in $3 million, awarded to councils that have suffered through the pandemic. 33 smaller councils in remote and border communities were selected for funding to revive their communities through COVID. The $90,000 grants may be used for small business support, tourism initiatives, or to support vulnerable locals.
To provide transport so that vaccinations can be provided to their communities. They also have, in some areas, multicultural issues, so they need translation services.
The man who caused the Northern Rivers Delta lockdown has pleaded guilty to 7 COVID-related offences. The Rose Bay man pleaded guilty to 4 counts of failing to use a QR check-in and 3 counts of failing to comply with COVID-19 directions. He did not appear by person or via video link. The matter is adjourned until next month. 2 Coffs Harbour SES crews have been deployed to Forbes to help the community prepare there for flooding. The Coffs crew will help with sandbags and ground operations, as well as managing an evacuation should the worst happen.
Hopefully we don't see the peak that is anticipated. Obviously Forbes are expecting around that 10.65 metre flood level, which puts it right up there with one of the worst floods they've seen in 2016.
So far, a caravan park has been evacuated and some other residents are choosing to leave those low-lying areas. The first review of the school curriculum in 3 decades was released today by the state government. The overhaul of the syllabus for kindergarten to year 2 aims to strip back the clutter and save teachers time.
The state's littlest learners today taught the Premier the art of silly sentences.
My big bear has a...
Talking weather, let's have a quick check of it today. Another breezy one, and the satellite picture there certainly dominated, not by cloud, but by those arrows, and the yellow and the orange showing the real strength there. And as we animate that map through or press play and see it now move, it was this afternoon it got quite gusty, and there were some 40, 50, 60 k/h gusts, even a little stronger in a couple of centres as well. Fresh, well, Taree got the 25, 28 for Kempsey, and it was a fresh old start, but as you got further up the coast, the actual temperature, say Lismore 29, kind of felt like 29. A few inland areas rather felt a lot cooler, but it is going to warm up. More details soon. Still to come in Prime7 News, why one man is walking from the Tweed to Yamba, and some juvenile turtles released back into the wild after some TLC. And later on this news hour, flooding alerts across the Central West as locals brace for more wild weather. Queensland's border excitement when you'll be able to head to the Sunshine State. Royals out in force, but no Queen, her latest health concerns. And in sport, Australia for the win with the T20 match that's made us, finally, world champs.
Stay in touch 24/7 at prime7.com.au.
A Northern Rivers man has walked 200 kilometres to raise awareness for men's mental health. Ben Draper arrived at the finish line in Yamba yesterday after leaving Tweed Heads on Thursday. The former MasterChef contestant is raising money for Movember, encouraging other men to speak out after his own mental health concerns.
Men still are struggling to normalise being able to just open up and talk about our emotions. And one thing I always say is if you're not speaking it, you're storing it.
What a great saying. He's raised just over $9,000, all proceeds going to the Movember Foundation. Well done. Turtle season, well, it is now upon us, and sadly that also includes a higher chance of stranding. But there were only smiles today for Far North Coast turtle lovers, a group of juveniles returning to their ocean home.
Arriving at work on Monday isn't everyone's idea of exciting, but these dedicated sea life helpers couldn't be more thrilled to see their hard-shell patients. Eloise Lagros, Prime7 News.
Well, they're learning to swim and parents are being urged to enrol their children in swimming lessons now too. An industry expert predicts an increase in drownings this summer. More than half of children are not currently learning to swim, with many forced out of lessons by those pandemic restrictions.
We could have a whole cohort of kids who don't get the opportunity to learn to swim. It's really important that we want to get people out there into swimming lessons, because if we don't, we're likely to end up with tragedy.
And we don't want that. Swim Australia is urging parents not to take lessons into their own hands, with professional classes important to teaching those survival skills. 25 children under the age of 4 drowned last summer. Still to come in Prime7 News, you'll see the marathon ending at a gorgeous lookout and hear from 2 of our Big Bash stars. Well, Goolga's Anna Leroyd and Sydney Thunder are off the bottom of the Big Bash ladder. The Thunder beat crosstown rivals, the Sydney Sixers, by 6 wickets. And the loss hasn't deterred our local Sixers stars, Coffs Harbour's Matilda Lugg, and Wingham's Maitland Brown, celebrating their debut season.
They're the rising cricket stars who were born and bred on the mid-north coast.
I'm sort of pinching myself still. We're getting towards the end of the regular season, but I'm still just so excited that I'm here with these girls.
Another 11 regional players have been added to the Aussie Rules Northern Heat program. Players from Grafton, Port, Coffs and the Nambucca Valley will get to hone their skills, leading the way to bigger competitions. They took part in a humid 2.5-hour training session over the weekend.
We've selected another 11 to go with the 29 who are already in the program. So between the under-17s and the under-15s, we've now got 40 players in the program, and we're looking forward to kicking on over the summer period.
How fantastic. And their first full training session focused heavily on ball movement, stoppage work and stamina. Taylor says the boys are already starting to reap the benefits. Well, a new course record was smashed at yesterday's Beach to Brother Trail Running Festival. Reece Lawler beat the previous record of 3 hours and 36 minutes. Nicole Wilding won the women's crown just ahead of Lou Clifton. Some of the most dedicated endurance runners hit the sand. It's the first major running event in the region since restrictions eased.
It was fantastic to actually provide our community and the outside community something to look forward to and something to participate in, because I know everybody has had itchy feet.
Yes, 450 people registered across the 4 distances. Well done. The first Far North Coast Nippers Carnival of the season has kicked off. Around 400 children from the region's 10 surf lifesaving clubs participated on both days of the event. Beach events including spring relays, the water events including surf, swim, beach paddle and team relays. And those nippers will compete in the next branch championships. They're held at Byron Bay on December 11. Still to come in Prime 7 News, we've got the latest weather details right after the break. Is it going to warm up, fine up or rain? All those, tell you when. Let's have a look at those weather details for you and what we can expect over the next couple of days, because we will see more sunshine, but showers for some by the end of the week. So the synoptic chart there for tomorrow, we'll press play and animate that through. So there's your high sitting down around Victoria, but that's quite broad and that will influence us right through. So we're pretty clear skies until late Thursday, southern parts of the state, a little bit of blue. We'll animate that a little further forward and then you'll see a little bit through here. There it is there, Friday afternoon. So around 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the far north, some isolated showers, maybe some around sort of Wollongong and just outside of Canberra. But for our backyards, it's probably 7 or 8 o'clock and further north. But then as we then push in towards Saturday afternoon, you can see it there, 2, 3 o'clock, again, some isolated showers, hit and miss. Now there's more of a chance for that on Sunday at this stage. Temperatures tomorrow, well, 21s and 2s, Kempsey up to 26, Port 11 tonight, then 24 and 23 in Taree. The good news is that the numbers there in the red boxes, your daytime temps, should start to feel more like the actual number. They were a little cooler than that today with the feels like temp. So season swells up a little around the Coffs Coast to the 2 to 2.5 metre mark, and the season swells have picked up around the Macquarie Coast and around the Hunter. The breeze there, they've got a strong wind warning for Newcastle and beyond. So for us, 22s, 3s and 4s, all looks okay into Wednesday. That little bit of cloud cover there, and as we climb then into Thursday, the temps overnight are rising, the days are around the mid to high 20s, but we've just got that little bit of isolated shower activity Thursday, but more so Sunday. And that's all we've got time for though tonight. Thanks for watching. Join the debate on your local issues on our Facebook page. Coming up next is the national news, reunions and holidays. Queensland hints at fully reopening ahead of schedule.